Hello, I'm Senator Sandy Pappas, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about what's going on at the Capitol this week, in particular what I've been doing. First of all, last Friday, I'll start with, I had a big press conference with the Safe Harbor Coalition. This is all about trafficking, and I've been working on sex trafficking for the last decade. So finally, we're at a point now where we are doing a comprehensive plan. This will include secure housing for victims and ongoing housing for young women under the age of 18 who can't go home, can't go in foster care. This will include training for police officers and first responders to recognize a trafficking victim, whether it's in a hotel setting or whatever. And this will include therapeutic services for the victims. If you can imagine the trauma, the mental, the emotional, the physical trauma. Let me give you an example of where this problem is next door. Recently, there was a young woman, a runaway from Iowa, who was at the Garden Inn Hilton, which I live next door to in downtown St. Paul. And she managed to get to a phone and call 911 and says, "Help me, I'm being kept prisoner here. I think they're going to kill me." Well, the police came, they arrested the traffickers, but she had been sold to 30 men in the past week. Thank God the prosecutors did prosecute, and those people are locked up, and she is safe. But this is just an example of the trafficking issue. Other things going on this week is in my district, I attended a breakfast at St. Paul College, which is right up on the hill by the cathedral. And we had a couple of us from the Senate there, but the House members were absent because they had been on the floor until 3 o'clock the previous morning. So they weren't able to attend the breakfast. But we did learn a lot about what St. Paul College is doing and the wonderful success stories they've had in getting young people educated. I also met with a woman from the Better Birth Coalition, and they are advocating doulas as a way to reduce costs in birth and to provide a better birth experience for our young mothers. And they have found that women who have a doula at their birth are less likely to need a C-section and have better birth outcomes. And so this is something we definitely need to pursue as we try to save money around health care. The Children's Museum president was in to see me, and the Children's Museum has a bonding request, capital investment request, of $28 million to do a total remodel of the downtown St. Paul Children's Museum. I was a supporter of theirs from the beginning when they first moved downtown, got them their first bonding grant, and so I'm very excited to be authoring the state share of $14 million, and hoping that we will have a bonding bill yet this spring. Which, speaking of the bonding bill, I took my committee, state and local government, on a backstage tour of the innards of the state capitol, where we really need to invest about $340 million on remodeling the electrical systems, the heating systems, the air conditioning systems, the ventilation systems. They're all 40, 50, 100 years old. And it was very enlightening for my committee members to see the hanging wires and the antiquated systems in the middle of this beautiful building. Plus, we do have erosion on the outside of the Georgia marble that needs to be stabilized and repaired. So it's a big hunk of money, but this is the people's house, and we're almost to the tipping point, and if we don't do the repairs now, we'll have to replace the entire Capitol. Can you imagine tearing down the entire Capitol building? Not something that we want to do. Oh, we had Children's Advocacy Day at the Capitol, and I had children from Wilder Daycare Center that came to visit me and all brought me Valentines. It was very, very sweet. And it's always wonderful to have the children in the building. And I think we're going to do some good things on early childhood education this year. The governor has talked about it. Many of us in the legislature have been advocating universal early childhood education for a long time. And the president even talked about it in his State of the Union address. So I think the stars are aligned for us to make a major leap forward in early childhood. Finally, I'll just end with the other end of the spectrum, which is college. This morning I met with the interfaculty organization, faculty members from the four-year colleges. Of course, I graduated from a Minnesota four-year college, Metro State, and I am a adjunct faculty at Metro State as well. So they were talking about the lack of investment in higher education over the last decade, which is true, and tuition has gone up as a result, and how we really need to stabilize that. And in the governor's budget are significant dollars for both the University of Minnesota, for the Minskew State University and College System, as well as $80 million for financial aid for students. And just one little note before I end is I'm authoring the DREAM Act this year. And that is to allow undocumented students who went to Minnesota high schools, basically grew up in Minnesota, consider themselves Minnesota residents, to be able to attend a Minnesota institution, go to college at the resident rate, and to receive financial aid. These are students who are excited about going to college, who did well in school, and they're going to be great citizens in the future. All we need is comprehensive immigration reform. But in the meantime, we can pass the DREAM Act. Thank you so much, and I'll see you again.